So I'm guessing you've all seen that Battlefield 2042 reveal trailer and probably smiled when that guy in the jet did the rendezvous. I think nearly everyone did. We saw quite a lot of stuff going on, from a load of different Battlefield cliches and nods towards past games, and let's just say that there was a hell of a lot of fan service. Battlefield 2042 is going into the not too distant future, as the name implies, and there's tons of questions still yet to be answered, which are most likely going to get answered over the course of the next few months, especially over E3. Now, one pretty big thing that we did learn, however, was the fact that Battlefield 2042 is actually sacrificing its main single-player campaign in favour of just having a massive balls-to-the-wall multiplayer, basically putting all of its eggs in one basket and solely focusing on that aspect alone. A lot of people might be miffed by this news, as it's been a while since we've seen a proper story-driven single-player mode that hasn't just been a bunch of random war stories all mashed up together, which, let's just say, just mainly acts as a bit of a tutorial for the multiplayer anyway, with a bit of backstory. But this is honestly a good thing, because if we remember back to Battlefield 5, one of that game's main problems was the fact that it sort of took the whole buckshot approach regarding its content. Loads of different things thrown at the wall, hoping they'd stick, like single player, multiplayer, co-op, battle royale, yeah, we'll get onto that in a minute, and some other stuff too. And not many of those things actually did stick in the end. It just wasn't very focused, and there was way too much confusion around what the devs should have been prioritising, and what they should have spent their time perfecting and making as best as they possibly could. More hands on deck and more focus on making the multiplayer as best as it can be is fantastic news. Let's face it, it's where the majority of players are going to spend most of their time anyway, so it makes complete sense to make that the focal point of the game and make it as good as it can be. Single player isn't the only thing that's getting ignored, because Battle Royale seems to be getting the shaft too, with news reporting that a BR mode isn't being considered for the game, at least for the time being, and we won't be seeing one when Battlefield 2042 releases. We might not even see one in the game ever, which is actually a really big surprise since the modern trend for most FPS games is to go and jump on that Battle Royale bandwagon and try and rinse it for all it's worth without too much innovation to speak of. The idea is there and everyone knows how popular it can be, but for a lot of people, Battle Royale is a mode that's really outstayed its welcome, and in more extreme views, is a mode that's actually destroying the FPS games we all know and love, because all the attention is going on that rather than traditional multiplayer. Obviously, a lot of Battle Royale fans will disagree and say that it's actually evolving the genre. But when every match is essentially a slow, boring, campy looting contest, it not only caters to a specific demographic, basically people who like slow, boring, campy looting contests, but all the guys who've grown up loving traditional multiplayer, who couldn't really give a rat's ass about Battle Royale, are being pushed to the side and left behind. Not cool. A lot of people might say, well, why not have both traditional multiplayer along with Battle Royale as well in the same game? The problem with that is, although Battle Royale and multiplayer can be plopped into the same game, it arises a series of problems and strain on the developer's workload. Call of Duty Modern Warfare is a brilliant example of this, because once they threw Warzone into the mix, that completely took all the priority and nearly all the focus got shifted away from Modern Warfare's traditional multiplayer, with most of the future content and DLC created for the game mainly catering to the Warzone crowd instead, whilst alienating all the people that didn't like Battle Royale. I mean, sure, multiplayer content hadn't dried up completely, but there was far less of it compared to before in the past games. Less maps, less modes, less effort. Call of Duty even killed off Modern Warfare and just kept the Warzone label in the end, with that being the series' new pride and joy. It was popular, still is, but at the end of the day it's still a niche thing that a lot of people either love or hate, and appears to be a staple in the Call of Duty series going forward. It's actually kind of ironic that all the COD fans 10 years ago took the piss out of the Battlefield series for being a walking simulator, when COD today mainly consists of wandering around Verdansk, opening boxes and basically trying to find people to kill. The true definition of a walking simulator. Battlefield 2042 doesn't need this. The bread and butter of what makes Battlefield such a great game to play is the crazy sandbox fun you can have on those massive maps. Not slugging around them, opening crates and having to wait 5 minutes in an aircraft carrier every time you get taken down. Battlefield is all about having loads of people all running around huge maps, causing chaos, taking objectives and having fun. All made possible by the fact that you can respawn with your own pre-selected pile of gadgets and guns. It's a Battlefield, and it's supposed to feel like you're on a battlefield. Would a Battle Royale mode work in the next game? Most likely if it was built properly, and I'd be lying if I said that a lot of people wouldn't like it, because fans of that genre probably would. But once again, the devs would be slicing their workload right down the middle, being split between all the traditional Battlefield fans who just want a really bloody good new multiplayer experience that feels fresh but familiar, and on the other side, all the Battle Royale fans who probably play a lot of Warzone and Fortnite. Two games that function completely differently in terms of gameplay to that traditional Battlefield multiplayer. You've got to remember that Battle Royale isn't just a simple game mode that can be tacked onto existing games in a couple of days and work flawlessly. It's practically a completely different type of experience altogether that needs building and balancing from the ground up, which takes a hell of a lot of time to do. Sure, Battlefield 2042 already has these gigantic maps and a really vast player count, so the foundations could potentially already be laid for it. But it'd still take a lot of time to implement properly, and that would all detract away from the game's main focus, the multiplayer. As far as we know, Battlefield 2042 is getting a few new modes specifically for multiplayer. Of course, Conquest and Breakthrough are going to be there, which are now the franchise's most popular game modes, but we're also going to be getting something new called Hazard Zone too. The first thing that might pop into your head is the question, is this going to be a Warzone ripoff? Because it certainly sounds like it could be. But it's been confirmed by the devs that it isn't, thank God for that. Hazard Zone's going to be its own individual thing, something that's unique. Apparently an entirely new experience with a big focus on tight squad play and high stakes. Could this be some sort of variation of Battle Royale? Maybe in some form or another. But we can safely assume that it's not going to be another typical generic BR mode like the ones we've seen in the past, if so. There's also another unannounced game mode still yet to be discovered, which is being put together by DICE LA. And just like Hazard Zone, this will be completely new to the franchise. But this isn't going to be a BR mode either, because it's stated to essentially be a love letter to Battlefield fans that long-time players will feel right at home with. Definitely doesn't sound like Battle Royale to me. Possibly Rush, Titan mode, or even something else. I guess time will tell. So the bottom line is, I'm really glad that Battlefield 2042 is just focusing on its own thing and letting all the other franchises chase the Battle Royale hype. Which I suppose will eventually burn itself out anyway, if it hasn't already in a lot of people's eyes. There's already enough competition out there for BR games, so Battlefield doesn't need to follow the sheep and join the ever-growing pile of loot shooters in order to stay relevant. It just needs to be enjoyable, and give Battlefield players what they really want. A solid multiplayer experience with tons of content, and nothing more. If Battle Royale does eventually find its way into the game at some point in the future, then so be it. But it definitely isn't a requirement, and the dev shouldn't feel pressured to follow trends. Just focus on perfecting its multiplayer modes going forwards, and we'll be in for a good ride. Battlefield games from many years ago are still going strong with active servers, and that's a pretty clear indicator that if you want a game to have good longevity and not die off, it just needs to appeal to the fans and give them plenty of reasons to keep coming back. Not because it has a Battle Royale mode that a bunch of streamers have hyped up for a couple of months. So those are my opinions on this subject. I know they're going to be a bit controversial, but if you agree or disagree, then let me know and fire away in the comments. Thanks for watching folks, subscribe and click the bell for more Battlefield content in the future, and I'll be seeing you in that next episode.